I've done videos on SoundHound before. However, 3 very exciting pieces of information have come out over the last couple of weeks, and this is extremely exciting. Wait till you guys find out this exciting news on SoundHound and why it very well could have this company around $20 a share in the next year or so, indicating a 400% return. AI software is the next boom, so stick around because I'm going to explain to you guys why SoundHound is the best AI software play next to Palantir. Welcome to the channel, guys. Corey here. If it's your first time and you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell. And if you could give me a thumbs up, it'd be greatly appreciated as it helps the channel grow. I've given SoundHound alerts on my YouTube channel, and I've most recently given them out to my Discord trade alerts. And I've been discussing SoundHound a lot over the last few weeks in the Discord. I have many students that have pretty decent sized positions in SoundHound, and they're all currently up, selling covered calls. The fact that the stock is up, very good company. And we're going to go over a lot of the details. Without a shadow of a doubt, SoundHound is a great buy. However, it is a little bit expensive. I've explained this to my students over the last couple of days that SoundHound right now is a little bit on the expensive side because of their PE ratio and their earnings, and they're still not quite profitable. So it's still an expensive stock to buy even at $4 or $4.50. However, in the future, there's going to be a lot of profit to be made on SoundHound because of their AI software tech. And I've been teaching my students how to sell puts to get in, how to sell covered calls to generate money off the stock while it's somewhat consolidating. Because right now, SoundHound is range bound between $4 and $5. So if you can sell enough covered calls over the next couple of months, make back most of the money you're spending on the stock right now, then you're pretty much getting the stock at a discount. And this way, you're not really paying the full amount for it. And that's what I teach in my Discord, is I teach my students how they can get stocks when they're consolidating, sell covered calls, generate 20 to 50% or more returns. This way, when the stock starts to really move, then they can just rely on the profits from the stock. If you guys are interested in learning how to become profitable, understanding options, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, and learning and growing your wealth and your financial freedom together, and maybe you want one-on-one coaching with me so I can teach you all the strategies to retire early, become profitable, have time, location, and financial freedom, you guys can sign up for my training course in Discord right there on the screen, investwithcorey.com, or in the information box below. The only thing is I have limited spots available, as I want to be able to go one-on-one with you guys and not teach thousands of people at one time. So unfortunately, I am limited on spots. However, I am very passionate about teaching, and I can't wait to meet with you guys and teach you how to grow your portfolio and help guide you and coach you to a better future. Lots of information on SoundHound. Let's get started. First, I just want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just here to guide you guys on technicals, fundamentals, financials, give you tips and strategies on the market and updated news. However, it's ultimately up to you to decide which stocks you want to buy and how much of a position size you want to have in such stocks or options, as it's your money. Okay, now we get to the interesting stuff. Let's start out with SoundHound and what's going on with the company. NVIDIA owns over 1.7 million shares in SoundHound. This is big news. Recently, NVIDIA invested in SoundHound AI and their software platform. SoundHound has a $1.6 billion market cap, valued at $8.34 million. SoundHound has returned 1.9% to its shareholders in returns over the last month versus the S&P 500 at 3.5%. The expectation in guidance is negative or a loss of 9 cents per share EPS in the upcoming earnings. However, this is a 10% year-over-year growth. The year consensus is a 33-cent loss EPS, which is a 13% year-over-year growth. For 2025, the consensus is 23 cents loss per share EPS, which is a 35% increase over last year. The consensus for this quarter, quarter 2 2024, is $13.61 million in sales, which is 55% increase over the estimates and the previous year, which is an increase of 55%. The consensus for 2024 is over 71 million, which is 55% increase. The consensus for 2025 is over 104 million, which is up 41.3%. SoundHound reported $11.59 million in revenue quarter 1 2024, which is up 73%. Quarter 1 2024, SoundHound reported an EPS of 7 cents per share loss, which was up from 12 cents a a share loss 1 year prior. That's almost a 50% increase year over year. That was a 14.5% surprise and a 22% surprise on the EPS compared to the estimates. So we can see how this is a really big, important factor in SoundHound. But there's one really big bombshell that I'm going to drop on you guys right now. It's more important than anything we've talked about, which is debt. SoundHound reported that they have agreed to pay $100 million in debt. This agreement allows SoundHound to save more than $55 million in interest and fees and frees up another $14 million in cash. The company now says that they're sitting on $180 million in cash and they are debt free. This is astronomical. AI, software, voice, and AI. We all use phones, tablets. We all talk and use voice to text, voice to speech, and NVIDIA is invested. This is a voice recognition and voice AI software company that NVIDIA has invested in, and they are debt free. And there's also a few other things I want to talk about. We're going to go over the financials right now in SoundHound because this ultimately is the best time to buy because we're at a divergence right now of where the shares are at a low compared to the previous 4 months. And not only are they at a low, they're at their best financial position and debt free that they've been ever. So right now is a divergence of where the shares are low enough and they're now officially debt free that it's only going to go up from here. So this is the time to buy. Anywhere under $5 is a buy. I would start buying this stock and I would start adding it to your portfolio. SoundHound is a buy. Let's take a look at their financials. We already know that SoundHound has got a pretty solid footing around the $4 to $4.50 range. I don't see it going much below $4 or $4.50. It may not even go any lower. It might just start trekking up. Let's take a look at financials. Don't worry about EPS and earnings. SoundHound is likely to beat the consensus yet again in the next upcoming earnings. So I expect a negative 5-cent EPS. It says negative 9. I expect negative 5. If we get negative 5, that's going to put us somewhere up here, and that means this year they could turn profitable or early next year. Let's look at financials. Here's the balance sheet. Net debt, negative $121 million. That means as of the previous quarter, they were $121 million sitting on cash. Now they have $180 million in cash. Another thing to really look at is their cash flow. Their cash from financing activities, they brought in $142 million by the sale of their common stock that generated them some money. So this way they didn't have to worry about the negative $21 million in operational activities. And their investing activities, they spent $3.7 million, and you can see it's an acquisition of a business. So they're spending money on acquiring businesses and licenses and investing in their company. They sold stock to finance that. Then they paid off their debt. Paying off debt, sitting on cash, it's two really good things. Then they're investing in their own business. These are three key fundamentals. The biggest one, they're sitting on cash. Even though they're not cash flow positive, they have the cash to put back into the business to become profitable. The fact that they have the cash, and right now I've shown you that they're investing in their own business, shows clear as day that SoundHound is making all of the right moves and they have enough cash to be successful. And NVIDIA has invested in them. They have no debt, big key. So now it's a matter of growth. And as you guys can see here, massive growth. It's really in its infancy. If you look at quarter 3, 2022, all the way up to quarter 1, 23, infancy. And even more so, all the way up into the most recent quarter 1, 24, now quarter 2, 24. You can see that SoundHound is making the strides. And now that they're debt free and they're putting money back into the business, and now NVIDIA is involved, and we've got this wave of AI software, this is huge. We had the internet boom at Netscape 30 years ago. That was huge. The AI boom, which if we're going to go off of the internet boom, it's only made half of its move. And now we're in the AI software boom, which is Palantir and SoundHound. There are a few others, but Palantir and SoundHound are my two diehard AI stocks that you have to get into. There's going to come a time, a year, 2 years down the road, maybe 3, where Palantir's at $100 and SoundHound's at $50 or $100. And you guys are going to be like, I wish I had gotten in. This is the time to do it. Let's go ahead and look at the options chain and show you guys how you can get in, how you can sell covered calls to help make back some of the money you've spent on the stock so that it's a discount. Okay, guys, the best way to get into SoundHound right now, unfortunately, would just be to buy shares. I wouldn't recommend selling puts unless you want to go out a couple of weeks, like maybe July 5th, you could sell a $4.50 put for $20. That's actually pretty good, but the likelihood of you getting assigned on this is rather on the low side. So for premium only, definitely good if you just want to make quick cash. If you go to June 28th, you can make $15 to $20. There is somewhat of a possibility that SoundHound could drop back to the $4 range, but it's not going to last very long. They're sitting on cash. They have no debt. So I can't imagine without bad catalyst, there are bad earnings. I don't see SoundHound going too far below $4.50. So this would be a good way to just generate premium. But you won't get assigned most likely, which means if you want the stock, that wouldn't be the way to do it because you're probably not going to get assigned. If you sell a $4 put, you're almost guaranteed not going to get assigned. So it's best to just buy the shares, especially considering how cheap it is, and just start selling covered calls. Because if we sell covered calls for June 28th at $5.50, you can make $5 to $10 in every 100. You can make about $50 a month on this. So 4 months down the road, you've paid for half the shares. I mean, if I sell this call right now and I get $5, that is $20 a month. 4 months is $80, which means I really only paid $3.80 for the shares. If I get $10, it means I only paid $3 for the shares. That's only in 4 months. Just selling out of the money covered calls is the safe way to do it. I don't think that I would sell $5 calls like 1 week out. This way you can roll, because SOUN could make a move at any time. I mean, they just paid off their debt. That's recent in the last 2 days. Shares are starting to go up. SOUN's up a little bit. It dropped because the meetings today on interest rates and inflation. However, it could go up. So I wouldn't really do any covered calls yet till after today. When you see this video, I'd wait till later on in this week to sell for the 21st or the 28th. But I really wouldn't do $5. If I was doing it, I'd go to the 28th and I'd do $5.50. So